living abroad or living in India? Which do you think is the better way to achieve financial independence?
Only 10% of Indian population earns more than 25,000 rupees a month.
Cost of living matters whether you like it or not. I've done the calculations. I've looked at cost of living in Bay Area, cost of living in Bangalore.
I am a true example of somebody who's got an Indian job and growth in India. But if I see my peers who were with me in engineering, took the GRE, went abroad, I think they were faster than me.
We had interviewed one guy, started at a 10 rupee daily job in India, went to Gulf and retired at the age of 40 with 6 crore of
So did Dhirubhai Ambani.
No, you can't. No, you can't give example of Dhirubhai. Dhirubhai he couldn't make money. Dhirubhai air qualified.
So I think after a very, very interesting discussion on the first topic, moving on to the next topic, and I think this is a very interesting one and another very heated topic in the comments which we see, living abroad or living in India. Which do you think is the better way to achieve financial independence? And sirs, let me tell you, this topic is something which is the most contested in our comment section. Whenever we do a video and we have a gentleman who has gone abroad and come back and achieved financial independence, the comments go wild, किसी Indian को लेके आओ who stayed in India. Before we start, if you can just tell us which sides you've picked.
Staying in India?
Jasnoor sir?
Same.
Moving abroad.
Going abroad. So I'll speak about numbers. Only 10% of Indian population earns more than 25,000 rupees a month. If you have to be in the top 1% of India, your salary is around 42 lakhs a year, which is give or take 3.5 lakhs. So that means to be in the top 1%, it's extremely difficult. Now, let me take you back. I did my engineering in 2006. I completed in 2006. I got a job from TCS. The salary was 2 lakh rupees a year. At that time, coders in US were getting around about 40,000, 50,000 odd dollars, and dollar was 40 rupees. So give or take 20 lakh rupees. Now, the same TCS, after let's say 19 years, is offering around about 3.5 lakh rupees. And if you look at salaries in US for a normal coder, I think it's $80,000 per annum. So if you multiply that now with the existing rate, it goes to 60 lakh rupees. So, we were at 2 and 20 19 years back. Now we are at 3 and 60.
So I've worked in tech. So if you're working in tech, you can make a decent amount of money in India today. You can also make a lot of money outside India, in the Bay Area and so on. I think the thing is the second part of that question, which is you want to achieve financial freedom. You look at all those news articles saying someone at IIT X got 5 crore of salary kind of thing, which probably includes 4 years of vesting and a Bay Area salary, which is probably 1.5, 2 CR or whatever. What you don't look at is what it costs to live in the Bay Area. It's a very expensive place. Once you have family, you have kids, you have a mortgage, a standard small box house is like $2 million or something like that. It's probably the same in Bombay. But that aside, if your intention is I will achieve financial freedom in 30 years and I will come back, it's much harder. Cost of living matters whether you like it or not. I've done the calculations. I've looked at cost of living in Bay Area, cost of living in Bangalore. Not that big a difference in terms of what you end up saving at the end of the day.
Ajinkya?
From 25 years back, India has definitely have become better. But my whole contention is when you plan a career decision, you plan for averages. If you're in top 1%, you will anyway make money here or there. But as you go down the curve, let's say for average, US is much better because whatever India is, obviously it's opening up a bunch of opportunities. But still the high quality or high paying jobs are very low number, and you need certain kind of luck. People who studied from a decent engineering college, not really branded per se, they got decent education, and then when they went abroad, they have done much better for themselves compared to even someone who has gone to IIT and couldn't crack jobs later. Right? And second main now I see is another big issue is the taxation rate. And people who have been in Gulf, if their income tax is 0, right, even if you match the cost, the saving is going to be much higher there.
So I'll start with the purchasing power parity point. Mostly when you're young, you don't want to be frugal. You want to enjoy life. But I think people are usually disappointed because you do the math here and then you go there. And then you suddenly find out that math is wrong. It's achievable. Financial independence is achievable, but it's wrong because suddenly there are so many things that you can do which cost a lot more than you ever imagined. You want to send your kids to a private school. It costs such a large number. Like you're talking thousands of dollars a month.
I heard 70,000 pounds for private school in London. Nice amount.
Actually, I'm on the other side, but I am a true example of somebody who's got an Indian job and growth in India. But if I see my peers who were with me in engineering, took the GRE, went abroad, worked there. I think they were faster than me when it came to doing everything in life in terms of, buying a house or getting their investments or getting their everything. And I think there, just because of that dollar sign behind the number, it gives that 85 times ka multiple,
Right.
which makes it a bit easier for you to funnel. Your funnel, the mouth of the funnel becomes bigger. Everyone has a bucketed life. So everybody in 20 to 30s, chalo paisa banate, let's make money, let's make more money. When you come to like 30s, 35, you want to go home, get married, be with your parents are aging. So at that time, you suddenly feel, yaar, chalo desh chalte. But the sheer magnitude of money which is there in those countries and the pie is being shared by lesser number of people, I think gives you a more probability to make faster money for yourself if you are smart enough. See, if you look at a driver here, simple, let's say 20,000 rupees he makes here. In Dubai, he can send home 25,000 rupees.
We interviewed this guy, right? Veeran started at a 10 rupee daily job in India. Went to Gulf and retired at the age of 40 with 6 crore of quarters.
Oh.
He would have come back.
Well,
Yeah,
Came back.
he did.
Yeah.
so did Dhirubhai Ambani.
No, you can't.
No, I'm
you
just.
can't give
I'm
an
just-
example of Dhirubhai. Dhirubhai, he couldn't make money.
Dhirubhai disqualified.
No,
Like,
okay, let's
that's like-
disqualify Dhirubhai.
If you are Dhirubhai, you should not
Let's
be
take
watching
example of
like
his tech analyst.
podcast, right?
No, let's take the example of a driver. Now, say you get a driver's job and you go there. Your problem isn't that you got a driver's job and you're able to send back 25,000 rupees. Your problem is that they take your passport. Your employer takes your passport. And if the employer decides not to pay you, you have no option because those countries are inviting you for a reason that the laws are not in support of you in any ways. In fact, this happened to a relative of mine where there was a robbery in a jewelry store that he was managing. Despite him being just a person who was a victim, the owner decided that this person has to make back the amount that was stolen from that jewelry shop in profits before he would be allowed back. And only his wife was allowed to come back to India. Over here, it's not like you won't be exploited in India. I'm sure you can be. But at least you won't be imprisoned and, things like that.
Well, again, you can be, but probabilities.
yes,
probabilities.
Yeah.
I think it's a quality of life question also to a large extent. My brother lives in the US, right? He'll see this. But that said, the level of consumerism is so much higher than what we think we see here on a regular basis. The average family in the US who's making maybe 80K, 65K is the starting H1B. So all the analysts from TCS are probably going at 65. They are not making a lot of money when they're going with family. I know people who leave family behind here because paisa banana, I will come back after 5 years.
Yeah.
The problem is when you want to live there, when you want to move there to achieve financial freedom and you may not want to come back. That way, achieving financial freedom with all those people there doesn't really happen that easily.
Yeah.
It makes for good YouTube channels about fire in the US and so on. But that is again their 1%. That is not their average person, unfortunately. That is where the problem is. The minute you hit stuff like healthcare in the US, for example, right? You're royally, cannot use words on video. But that's part of the problem.
One thing, but yeah, people who go abroad, right, to make money, after you settle there, it's very hard to come back. That I have really observed, right? So,
Yes.
from a opportunity cost of view, from family point of view, everything becomes.
The sheer inertia.
All the calculation I am making in my head is,
Come back.
will you, like, it's very easy once you make probably a couple of millions to come back and have that life here.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you're staying there, it's very hard.
This guy on YouTube had done a video where he had sort of seen where the top 20% of all the IIT exam ranks had gone in the last 10 years. And very interestingly, your top 10 ranks, 90% are abroad still today. Google's, your Facebooks, etc. As you keep going lower down the ranks, that percentage was gone abroad
Has
decreases.
reduced.
Why do you think this number is that, when you're going down, they are sort of not looking at that opportunity as much? Is it cost? What are the factors which could be stopping them from going abroad?
So India as such is a very, very conservative country. And till now, risk taking is not a part of the blood group of India. A lot of these students would have come from tier 2, tier 3 places. They may be, in their life, their parents would have struggled, there would be debt, they are not very confident about themselves. They can't speak English. Sometimes that becomes a very big barrier in the country. Yaar, isko to English nahi aati. I think that's what maybe is driving people to say, okay, this is the easiest available. Let me start with this.
So,
Yeah, I want to tie up that point to the earlier one you mentioned. If you want to achieve financial freedom early, leave hometown. Whether you leave country or not, leave hometown.
Yes.
Because if you stay in a hometown, there are always going to be social obligations that will make you much, much less effective.
I think some fantastic thoughts and a lot of food for thought for everyone. I think let's go to the audience for some questions maybe which you guys can answer.
Hello. My question is open to all. In this discussion, we have talked about mostly the US and Gulf countries. What are your opinions on East Asian countries and European countries?
I think East Asian countries are also good developing countries. It's very, very expensive. But then I would say कि अगर वहीं है तो यहीं भी ठीक ही है. मतलब then in that case, you know, because the kind of money which you can make there versus the kind of money which you can make here now, I would say that then you're better off being here.
I think we were just talking about the Europe angle. Cost of living is not very low. Social services are very good. Salaries are actually close to Bangalore with 50% taxes.
Yeah.
But social security, healthcare, university education is probably free and all of that. So, but not for financial freedom.
In India, I have to slog myself to earn and have a social security. Over there, those people can enjoy social security very well. They don't, and over the best thing is that you have work-life balance. Like they don't focus on work is your life. They focus on life as a life needs to be enjoyed, and work is just one side thing which you need to do to just stay sane. Any thoughts on those things? Like
My thought is Europe has too much work-life balance that it is not sustainable.
Yeah, so there are also a lot less unicorns out of Europe. Probably less than India.
See,
So the outliers are low.
Yeah.
The middle is fat. Everyone has a reasonably good life.
So see, you have to make a choice. If you want to be in a place where you have massive upside, then you have to work massively. You have to work, put in that kind of effort. But if you say, Meko, I want a stable life. I want a life which has, everything in a pie of a life. Good life, reasonable healthcare, reasonable salaries. Then obviously this is your choice. Great place to be.
Europe is like another government job, you would say.
Just in a beautiful place.
So I'll tell you, I mean, it's a social thing also.
Yeah.
By the way, if everything is taken care of, you don't need to invest. You don't need to save.
So effectively, the tax there is not a tax; it's an investment for your future.
Sir, in the world of internet where remote working is a culture now, is it still relatable to move abroad and work for the same amount? Still we can get paid staying at India, paying taxes. Is it still relatable to move abroad in the perspective of just monetary benefits or fire number?
If you are looking at remote jobs doing in Europe, imagine that today it is in Bangalore, tomorrow it is going to be in Nepal. In fact, I was just talking 6 months back with my co-founder, saying one of my founder friend has a coders from Nepal. I was like, can't we recruit from Nepal? Right? Because our team is largely remote, right? So
It's a global marketplace then. So you have to be in that top percentage of people to get that job.
Then why
Simple
you?
as that.
We have one last question from the audience for this segment.
The individualistic tendency in India supersedes building for a community. While people do stay back caring for their parents, but why do the narrative become so individually driven, and why is it not community driven?
So I think we tried socialism. India is a socialist republic probably still, but we tried it very strictly for 30, 40 years.
Didn't work.
Till we had to open up. It doesn't work. The government would take care of everyone. Taxes were super high on businesses. You didn't have a lot of
80-90%.
innovation. So to be fair, last 30 years, yes, people are individualistic. People make money and so on. But hopefully we all pay taxes, and the government does feed a lot of we were talking about the 80 CR people who get free food, for example, when the camera wasn't on. Would that exist if we didn't have the individualistic thing is an interesting question.
Right.
Russia versus the US kind of thing, in the sense that they tried a communist experiment for longer.
So, pre-debate on going abroad, 82.4% of the audience was in favor of going abroad, and 17.6% of the audience believe that staying in India would also help you achieve financial independence. Post-debate, the number of people agreed to going abroad being a better option is 66.7%, which is a fair drop. And the number who believes in staying in India has gone up to 33.3%.
Ajinkya, we lost.
I am staying in India, right?
We're all staying.
Thank you for watching and supporting our channel. If you like the stories we tell, here's your chance to be a part of it. If you or anybody you know has an interesting financial journey to share, then please fill the form in the pinned comment below and we'll get in touch with you.